Hello, this is my home studio setup, my own personal for all of my recording and all that stuff. So, pretty much, the use of my studio has five main things. I like to record guitars, electric, acoustic, bass guitars. I also like to record vocals, even though I don't really have a necessarily isolated space for vocals. Then I also use MIDI keyboards to record a lot of synths because I really like making some pretty out there electronic music and some virtual instruments. Like all my drums are all virtual in the box. And then I also use my studio for mixing and mastering my sessions and putting them out there. So, moving on, you can see here with the studio space diagram, not gonna lie, very poorly drew this. This is the space. It's a studio, so there isn't really much. It's a very small space, 11 feet by 14 feet and 11 inches, and there's a TV over there. You can see my desk down there. And where I have it positioned, the sweet spot, if I just back up about a foot-ish around there, that's my true sweet spot. And I got one long pad over by where the TV is and a couple audio foam pads by my desk as well. And yeah, so it's a living room, so it's not fully producing room quality, but yeah, it's kind of a big issue right now. So moving on, I got all the technology and what I got. So I'm using 13-inch MacBook Pro with 4 gigs of RAM. Now, 4 gigs can be okay, but I would deeply suggest upgrading, which is what I need to do. I also have a Focusrite Scarlett 2i2 interface to record my vocals and my guitars. Ibanez Geo guitar, not my ideal guitar, but it's what I got right now for my current setup. An Akai MPK Mini and MPK 25, and those are all my son stuff. Use them at school all the time for ensemble and everything. I also have a Sterling Audio ST51 condenser mic for recording, and a Cobalt CO2 dynamic mic, but I use that for live stuff. And I have my pair of M-Audio AV40 studio monitors. Now, when I get to the upgrades, I have my eye on something better than the M-Audios because they give kind of like too much bass, like a false bass. And then my DAW preference is Logic Pro X, and I use PodFarm 2 with recording digital, like using guitar but having a digital amp setting. I use PodFarm 2, and I also use JST plugins, which is Joey Sturgis Tones. And what's awesome about this is Joey Sturgis is one of my favorite metal producers, engineers, and he has all these plugins about like gain reduction, and I have a JST plugin called Menace. It's like PodFarm, but it's just strictly metal, and like it just has a nice like grit, distorted, rough, heavy tone to it. And then yeah, I have gain reduction, which is a very good vocal thing. Side widener, where you can do stereo spread with certain things, and what else? There's well, oh well, but oh, it's JST clip, and when you do that, it's like a limiter, and you can, or I think it's a limiter where you turn it up all the way, and like it can punch through all the different sounds in the mix. So yeah, those are all the technologies that I use, and then in this picture you can clearly see here where the Cobalt CO9. Oh, it's CO9, not CO2, my bad. My M Audio 8040s here, Sterling Audio ST51, the MPK25. This thing's pretty big to lug around, that's why I also bought a mini. It's more portable. Uses are about the same. The focus right down here, and the JST tone I was talking about, Menace. So, moving on to treating my room. Currently, the room really isn't that treated. I need a lot more audio foam to kind of dampen the sound a little bit. And my plan is to not cover my walls completely, but have at least 4 pads on each wall, including the ceiling. Yeah, so this kind of goes right into upgrades. And before I talk about some of the up here stuff, right here with the need more audio foam, and the point above, need to build or have a space to isolate and record vocals. This is the big one for me because it's so out in the open and not confined that I feel like I need to somehow build a little sheltered off area for the vocalist or anybody to do vocals, and it sounds quiet, or it's dead. You can just hear the vocalist and that's it, and it's got like great, like if it's bright it'll sound bright, stuff like that. So getting a space for the vocals is like the biggest thing. Then also I'm looking at better studio monitors, like I said before, and I'm looking at the KRKs or maybe some Mackies, or I don't know, something better than M Audio, because M Audio is not good in my opinion. And then I need a monitor to have bigger screen real estate, because really a 13-inch Mac just doesn't cut it. There's way too much clutter, and just I need a monitor, better real estate. Then I need more audio foam. I need more RAM in the Mac because I do have freezing problems from time to time, and I need more RAM. 4 doesn't cut it, especially when you have a lot of plugins running in a session. Yeah, it's a nightmare. So then I also need a better pair of listening headphones to listen in on the mix when I'm not listening through the monitors, or just hearing the vocalist do the take or something like that. And then I need a better recording microphone. The ST51 is good, but I like the Rode mic or some of the mics that we've talked about in class, Dr. Doug, and yeah, so, and then last but not least, I would really like an electric drum kit to record drums being played in real time, and the MIDI data goes in and it's all there, and I can fine tune all the drums, making the bass punchy, stuff like that. So yeah, that's the upgrades for my studio, and that was my home studio setup. Thanks.